So to start off this cut, I'm going to go ahead and begin with the top. And the reason I like to do the top first is because it gives me a finished product to already blend into. So what I'm going to do right here is just establish where I want my fade to stop, and as well prevent any hairs from kind of hanging over the sides. So I'm going to establish this line all throughout the parietal ridge here. And I'm just coming out and pulling off of the head just slightly, and any hair sticking out of my fingers I'm going to go ahead and cut off. And this is just going to help me prevent taking that fade up too high and, you know, getting rid of too much bulk around this area. So as you can see, I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing throughout the back and the other side. So I'm going to follow that guideline all the way through. This is going to be kind of a crop top textured style, so I want to make sure that I keep that weight there because it adds shape to the haircut as well. And now I'm just completing over to his left side, doing that same thing, being real consistent here. Now after we go ahead and do that, what I'm going to do to add some texture, because we're not going to take any length off of this haircut, is I'm going to come in and take horizontal sections moving forward, and I'm just going to point cut. So I'm going to take section by section, and I'm going to leave a little hair hanging over my fingers, and I'm just going to point cut at it. And we're just going to do that all the way forward. Real simple, real easy. There's really nothing to it. You want to make sure that you keep the steel blade right along your finger. You don't want to kind of point cut at your finger because you could risk the chance of cutting it, and that's something you definitely don't want to do. So now we went ahead and take another horizontal section, and we're just going to keep moving forward here. Now we went ahead and took another section, and we're just being real consistent, real clean, cutting in between the hairs. And you'll see the texture really come to life in this style, right? Right now I'm going to get ready to go ahead and blow dry it, but you still won't see that texture come alive until we put some product in there and really bring it to life. But you'll see I'm kind of blasting the hair. I'm not trying to get it in a finished style. I really just want it to be dry. And now we're going to come in with that 2-guard, and we're going to take it right to where we left off with that line that we created on the parietal ridge. So we go ahead and keep that weight. And you'll see I'm coming in and just flaring off the shape of his head. And what that's going to do is allow me to keep that weight and that bulk around that area. And now I'm going to do that same thing going over to the other side as well. Coming in with that 2-guard, making sure that we have a nice clean canvas to work with. And now after we establish that 2-guard, which is the biggest guard we are going to use, I'm going to come in with my clipper closed. And in this fade, this client doesn't want to have any arches. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with our clipper closed right at the bottom of that arch. And then we're going to go to the back and give it kind of that drop shape. And the reason I'm coming in with the clipper closed instead of the trimmer first is because it's just going to make getting rid of that first line a lot easier. So now after we go ahead and establish that bald line, we're going to come in with our trimmer and shave everything under that clipper closed with our trimmer. And I'm being careful not to take this trimmer all the way up to the top of that line, because that would kind of defeat the purpose of coming in with that clipper closed. And we're just trying to get the bottom as clean as possible, getting rid of all those little hairs, all those little stubbles. And now we're going to do the same thing over on the other side as well. And you'll see how that drop shape complements his head, and it helps, you know, keep that shape that we want, that keeps that weight in the back there. And now we're going to come in with our lever open. Now with this lever open, we're going to go up about a finger's width, and we're still going to maintain that drop shape going towards the back here. And the side of this client's head is kind of really condensed, so I'm being careful not to take this fade up too high, which is about why I'm being kind of conservative with how high I make this guideline. But you'll see in the back I make it just slightly wider, and the reason being is just because we have a lot more, you know, surface area or canvas to work with. And now we're gonna come right above that lever open with our one guard open, doing the same thing, lever open about a finger's width. So we're gonna establish all our guidelines going up, and then when we get to the top of that fade, we'll go ahead and blend down. Being real consistent, real clean here. And as you can see, I faded his right side already. We're just blending that left side into his right side. And now what we're gonna do is grab our 1.5 open, and we're gonna blend right into that 2 guard that we already established the top of that fade with. So after we do that 1.5 open, you'll see me go ahead and close that lever little by little, like I did right here, and we're gonna start blending down. And now after that 1.5, we're gonna drop down to our half guard with the lever open, as I'm pointing out right here, and then I'll go ahead and close that little by little as well. So as you can see, that line is starting to blend out. We're making sure not to take this up any higher, because we want to keep it in that middle range but still blend out his arches as well. Now we're gonna move towards the back, and I can't lie, this client's hair blends very easily, so there wasn't much work that I needed to do in order to make this blend look good, you know what I mean? So I'm just coming in with that half guard still, and slowly but surely this blend is coming together and looking super clean. Now we're gonna connect that right there in the back. And now to get rid of that last line at the bottom, I'm gonna come in closed, and then as I move up within that fade, I'll go ahead and open up that lever, and that'll pretty much get us through all of our steps. And then for that line that blends into the length on top, we're gonna do some clipper over comb, but we're really gonna spend the majority of our time detailing with the no guard, right? So I'm coming in closed, and I'm gonna open it little by little, and then you'll see I'll go back and kind of detail any dark spots that I see with the corner of that blade. But that fade is coming together like butter. So now we're detailing the area that we already kind of blended out. And you can see, man, that little bit of detail makes a big difference in that blend. It's all about taking the time to go back and do that. And now we're gonna go to the back and connect the fade throughout the entire head. And you can see in the back there's a lot more indentations and dark spots than there is on the sides. So we want to make sure we pay extra attention to detail in that area. And right here, I think I came back with my half guard. And now after we complete the blend, we're going to do some clipper over comb to kind of transition into the top a little bit nicer. And I'm coming in with that comb, and then I'm just flaring out slightly. And then on my clipper, I have the lever all the way open. And what I want to do is any hair sticking out of the comb, we're just going to go ahead and get rid of. And this will kind of debulk, and then we'll go ahead and fine tune it with our thinning shears. And you'll see when I go up with this comb, I'm kind of using it as a guard here, which saves me a lot of time. So I'm coming in, and then any hair sticking out we're going to get rid of, especially in this area right here. And that transition is looking a whole lot nicer. But you'll notice a lot of times after clipper over comb, it can look very choppy. So when coming in with the thinning shears like I'm doing here, it's going to really soften everything up and make that transition look a lot smoother. So I'm just coming in and detailing, and same idea, you want to come in with that comb and just flare out a little bit, and then we'll just cut anything sticking out of those teeth of the comb. And now we're gonna complete this step right here in the back, kind of soften everything up, make it look clean. And now we're gonna get into his front lineup. All right, so with the front lineup, he didn't want to keep it natural. He wanted to have kind of a sharp, clean line. So a lot of people will call this an Edgar, but I believe after we style it and everything, it doesn't really look much like an Edgar anymore. But what I want to do is comb all those hairs forward and just give this man a straight line. So we're gonna start in the middle and move towards his left side. You'll see I'm doing some clipper over comb to kind of debulk in that corner area. And a lot of times these lineups that have a lot of hair in the front and a lot of bulk are very challenging and difficult to deal with. So you want to pay extra attention to detail here. And it's not going to be perfect on the first time through, and nor will it probably be perfect at all. But you want to make sure that you comb it as much as you can and reline it as much as you can, because you know when they have a lot of hair in the front, the hair tends to shift and move. So you want to make sure when it's all combed forward that you have a nice clean straight line. Especially getting into that corner here, I don't want to push that back or cut off the end of his eyebrow. So you'll see I'm kind of holding it out the way right here. But we're getting that line together, and now we're gonna go to the other side. And I already did it. I forgot to record this side, or I thought I was recording already. But now we're gonna get into his mustache and his beard. So we want to lower the mustache to a 1 guard open, and that's kind of universally what I use on everybody unless they want to keep their mustache longer, right? And he wanted to lower his beard to a 4 guard with the grain, so that's what I'm doing right here. And I kind of like this length. It keeps it dark and full, but at the same time give it, you know, a cleaner look as well. So when lining up the mustache, you always want to clean up the bottom of the lip or the top of the lip, but you don't want to take this area up too high. You kind of want to just get the hair off the lip, keep it, you know, as natural as possible, but as clean as possible. Because if you take it too high, you know, it'll look kind of funny. So, and now for the top of the mustache, he does like to thin it up just a little bit. We're not gonna make it super thin, but we're gonna, you know, lower the top of that mustache a little. And now we're gonna go ahead and recline our client and line up the bottom of his beard. And this step right here really brings the beard to life. It gives the beard structure and shape. So I like to take my time here. I'm gonna start with the back, and then I'm gonna go to the bottom. And you don't want to dig too deep here in the back of the beard because it can look pretty awkward from a side view. So I just want to follow that natural line and just make it sharp and clean. And then with the bottom, we're gonna do it right at the Adam's apple and bring that straight across. So not too low, not too high, kind of in the middle. And this line right here really makes the beard look a lot cleaner, a lot fuller. And then once we add the beard line on the top, my man's gonna be ready to go. So after that, we're gonna go ahead and line up the top of the beard. And I'm gonna have him blow a bubble because a lot of times in this area right here is really tight or really condensed, and it's hard to get a nice clean line. And then I'll have him kind of relax it and line up the rest. And even though the top of his beard is light, we're gonna go ahead and keep that line pretty high. And then all those hairs, you know, at the top of the beard, just for less irritation, I just like to get rid of it with the trimmer. And I'm gonna go ahead and reline it to really make sure we have a nice clean line here. But boom, that is the beard. And now we're gonna get into styling the top to really put the cherry on top. We're gonna use some Tune 45 texturizing powder. And this right here you could use by itself, but I always like to kind of cocktail it with the Tune 45 clay as well, to really bring that texture and that style to life. And there's not a lot of work that you have to do. You just want to work it into the hair, kind of style it forward. But as you can see, man, my man came in looking rough, but he left looking clean. Family, if this video helped you in any way, shape, or form, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And like always, I appreciate y'all, and I'm gonna catch you guys next time.